It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Army Black Knights assistant rifling coach, Leighton Dempster. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Brandon. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get into college coaching?
Yeah, so I actually did not know that I wanted to get into college coaching. I graduated from the University of Memphis in 2019, and I was really looking for a graduate assistant position so I can get my master's, continue my accounting education, and stick around the sport if possible. But that didn't quite work out, and the position became available at Army West Point, and I jumped on it as soon as I heard about it. And thankfully, Coach Wright, the head coach here, gave me the opportunity to, try it out, stay on for a year and see how it works. And now I'm going into my third season. I absolutely love the cadets. I love coaching. I didn't think that it was going to be a career choice that I wanted to, because I loved competing so much. So I didn't know how I was going to feel about the flip side of it, but nothing has brought me joy like coaching has. So I'm very thankful that I was given the opportunity and super blessed to continue to be at Army West Point and coach the cadets here.
Of course, what was your college career like at Memphis?
Yeah, I absolutely love Memphis. The teammates that I had were incredible. I'm still friends with them. It was a super uplifting environment to be in when I was there, and I wouldn't have wanted to compete anywhere else. I definitely liked the location. It was only 5 hours from my hometown, so I was able to still interact with my family and compete at that Division I level that athletes aspire to compete at. So I was really lucky I got to go to Memphis.
What were some of your accomplishments at Memphis during your career?
Yeah, I think the biggest one for me is when the team broke our small bore record and our aggregate score record at Jacksonville State my senior year. For myself, I was two-time All-American, and I held 3 program records at one point, which they have since been broken, which I'm super excited for the team to continue to improve. But yeah, those are just kind of some of the physical awards that I got at Memphis, but the things that I learned being on the team there and the maturity and the mental growth I made is by far one of the most rewarding things that I got out of being on Memphis Rifle.
Of course, what was it like to hold three records at Memphis? And obviously you just said that they got broken, but what was that like to hold them for a long time?
It was really cool. It wasn't something I was expecting to do, but it was really cool that just all of the hard work that I put in, that was the outcome of that. And the support system at Memphis was phenomenal. It was just really nice to be supported and encouraged by my teammates, by the athletic staff, and by my coach, who really wanted me. I actually broke my former coach's record, which was pretty cool. But yeah, it's such an honor to be able to say that I held a record at Memphis for a short period of time. It was only about 2 years, but it was pretty cool.
Can you talk about, of course, what rifling is and what kind of stuff y'all do for those people that don't know about the sport?
Yeah, of course. So rifle is an Olympic sport, and what we do in NCAA is we shoot 22 rifle, which is, we call it small bore, and air rifle. So 22 rifle in USA Shooting and the International Shooting Sports Foundation is a 3x40. So it's called a full course. And so what that is, it's you shoot prone, standing, and kneeling. And then in NCAA, instead of shooting a 3x40, we shoot a 3x20. So it's 20 shots in each position. And then after small bore, you have a transition period, and then you go and you shoot 60-shot air rifle, and that's all standing. And what an air rifle is, it's a 177 caliber, and it's just like an air rifle pellet. It's not a BB gun or an airsoft gun like some people think. It actually shoots pellets, but Yeah, so that's kind of the course of fire that we shoot, and we shoot that all in one day. So you start in small bore and kneeling, make your way into standing. You have an hour and 45 minutes for record fire, and then you transition over to air rifle where you have an hour and 15 minutes for that.
Of course, what is a typical game day like for obviously rifling players?
Yeah, so game days are pretty long days for rifle. We call them matches. They start around 8 or 9 in the morning, depending on who you're competing against and if there are any time zone changes for traveling. But for me, game days or match days are fantastic. It just brings a certain kind of energy and intensity to the table that I really enjoy. And I enjoy seeing my cadets thrive in that atmosphere as well. But like I said, we start in small bore, you shoot that, you have about 30 minutes to switch over, and then you have your air rifle portion. And then in normal NCAA matches, we don't have what we call finals, but in NCAA championships and conference championships, you'll have an additional finals portion where the top 8 competitors in each discipline will compete for those top 3 spots.
Of course, what was it like to join the Army Black Knights team?
It was a big change for me coming from Memphis. I had a lot to learn. I had a lot to learn about the Army. I had a lot to learn about how Army West Point did things and how the cadets are, but it was phenomenal. The team welcomed me in with open arms. Coach Wright and I are a fantastic duo. We work really well together. And it was really cool to see kind of the culture of the team, where it started and how like the direction it was going, and really be able to play a part in that and kind of help the team culture grow as, just the team was growing.
Of course, what has it been like for you to see, obviously, when you were at Memphis, obviously those players were civilians and obviously they didn't go straight into the Army, but now that you're at Army and you're seeing these cadets turn into obviously young men and women soldiers?
Yeah, so it is a big thing to come to Army West Point. It's not just a 4-year college commitment. You know, you have years of service after, along with the other service academies as well. But it's really interesting to see the type of mindset that the cadets have, because, at Memphis, you'd have some people who just, if they're not feeling it today, it's really hard to, be disciplined at a regular university. It takes a lot of grit and a lot of mental fortitude to do that. Well, at West Point, that's kind of the expectation. Discipline is something that the cadets know really well. It is so refreshing for a team of 14 to come in and every single person give me all they have to give that day. You don't see that a lot, and it's very rare, and it is super refreshing to be around so many people who, whether they're feeling it 100% or they're super motivated to come into practice today, because it happens in every sport. You're going to lose motivation here and there. They never give up. And I think that just goes to show like the type of person that comes into the academy and the type of cadets and the type of future officers that they will be. Because at the end of the day, I would love to help them win an NCAA championship, but more importantly, I want to help them be successful officers in our Army.
Of course, who are some of the teams that you face in your conference?
Yeah, so our conference, the heavy hitters are University of Kentucky, West Virginia, Ole Miss, and then obviously Memphis is in the conference, Navy, NC State, Akron, and I think that's it. Nebraska used to be in our conference, and they actually just moved out this past year.
Of course, what is it like now that you're at Army to compete with Memphis that is also in your conference?
Yeah, it's really cool because some of my teammates are actually still on the team. So I only graduated in 2019, so I'm a relatively young coach. And our first road trip, my first season, was actually at Memphis and Ole Miss. So my parents actually got to come up and feed the team some, good Creole Louisiana food, which was really fun to get to share that part of my life with the team. But it's cool because I get to see my old teammates and, root for them, support them, while still being able to have that healthy rivalry and competition, because I want Memphis to do well, but I want Army to do a little bit better.
Of course, with Army being such a military school, what is it like to compete against all the other Division I schools that obviously don't have military background and stuff like that?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that it is a super different environment. Rifle as a whole, really a lot of the athletes are disciplined and they get a lot of skills from the sport, like time management and mental fortitude and just a lot of things that are across the board that athletes get. So I don't think that there's a huge difference when competing against civilian schools and the service academies. But I will tell you that there's nothing like the Army Navy rivalry. My first year here, we unfortunately did not win the star match. And that was one of the most gut-wrenching things that I experienced. I didn't truly understand the Army Navy rivalry until, we lost to Navy. Fortunately, last year we came out with the win, got the gold star, which was just a surreal feeling. So I will say that competing against the service academies have a little bit different of an edge just because of the rivalry that's there. And we know at the end of the day, we're all on the same team. We're on America's team. So it's really cool to be able to be a part of that atmosphere.
Of course, what is the recruitment process like for prospective student athletes, particularly prospective student candidates?
Yeah, so recruiting for rifle as a whole is very interesting because it's not a very huge sport. So we pretty much know all of the recruits that are out there. You can bet they're going to be at the winter air gun competitions, they're going to be at USA national competitions. There's only so many big shooting competitions and matches that recruits will go to. So it's really cool that we know a lot of the people that we may or may not be recruiting to join the program in the future. What I will say is that rifle is a lot more communication based from the recruit standpoint. Coaches want to know that the recruits want to come to their teams. They want to know their progress. They can't just go to huddle like football has and look at highlight reels. It's a lot more marketing yourself as a recruit, and it's a lot more outreach on the coach's part to actually physically go to these open matches and these competitions to see what talent there is out there.
Of course, what was the big difference from obviously when you were recruited to Memphis to now you're recruiting people to Army?
Yeah, so I will say I was never really recruited. I did not shoot precision rifle, which is what NCAA is, until I was a senior in high school. So I got to the game very, very late. And I got very lucky that Coach Butch, who was my first coach at Memphis, gave me an opportunity to shoot for the program. So it was actually a walk on my first year. And then I gained scholarship after that. But the recruiting process for any service academy is a little bit different because it's not just a 4-year college. It is it's a commitment to service beyond your college education. And, the expectation is that you will commission as an officer at the end of your time here at West Point. So it's a little bit different, takes a little bit more forethought, but I would say as a whole, recruiting for rifle across the board is pretty similar.
Of course, can you talk about the culture that you have helped build at Army for rifling?
Yeah, of course. So the culture when I got here was, I could tell it was kind of starting to change. So the assistant coach that came here before me, I think really helped Coach Wright kind of connect with the athletes a little bit more and find out, where does the team want it to go instead of where just does the coaching staff want it to go. And now I can say this year out of my 3 years being here is the best team culture we've had. We really focus on accountability. We really focus on lifting each other up in that inner team competition. It's not all about who we can beat, even though we definitely want to win. It's more about mastering our craft and, making practice time as efficient as possible, because as a cadet, they have insane time demands. And so we need to be efficient and be able to hold each other accountable to setting our goals and doing those things that are going to reach or help us reach our goals. So I definitely love where the team culture is going, and I'm super excited to see how it improves throughout the season and into next.
Of course, what are some of your future plans for obviously the Army rifling program?
Yeah, Coach Wright and I have a lot of ideas for where we want to take the program and how we want it to, improve. But I think the biggest thing is making sure that our cadets are ready for their service after they graduate. So we would love to be NCAA champions. We would love to be GARC champions, which is our conference. And that's things that we are striving for. But more importantly, we want to make sure that our cadets know that we care about them as people and that we care about their Army careers after their 4 years being on the rifle team. Because ultimately, that's what the goal is. The goal is to commission officers who are going to go out and serve our Army faithfully and well. So I think our biggest focus for the future of Army Rifle is continuing to strive for excellence in our sport, academically, and helping our cadets feel better prepared for their time in the Army.
Of course, what advice would you give future prospective student athletes looking to go into college rifling?
Something I wish that someone would have told me is do not hold back. If you know where you want to go or if you know where you're interested, reach out to the coaches. If it's before they're allowed to talk to you because of compliance and recruiting rules, they'll let you know. But just reaching out to those college coaches and saying, hey, my name's Leighton, here are my scores. This is what this is my progress the past year. This is how long I've been shooting. Just communicating with coaches is going to be your biggest friend, and staying in constant communication with them. And I will say, don't compromise your values for any team. If you go on a visit and don't like the program, then go somewhere where it's going to be a good fit for you. You want to be able to strive not only in your sport, but as a student athlete and as a person at your university or at your academy. And having the right people around you is very important for that.
What advice would you give future college coaches looking to get into the sport?
Yeah, so I'm a very new coach, so I don't have any profound and groundbreaking advice. But just to echo what I said for potential student athletes is don't compromise your values for a job. I can say that I definitely fit in at Army West Point, and there are some schools and universities that I don't know if I would fit in for. And knowing kind of your coaching philosophy, your coaching style, and what you want out of a job is going to put you ahead of the pack when you finally do apply for that job that you want or go after that position that you want. It's all about being your true, genuine self, making sure that your intentions are pure when you're going into it. It's all about the athletes. Winning is great, but making sure that your athletes are prepared for success after college and throughout their time in college it should be a priority.
That's wonderful advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with Army Rifling program at?
Yeah, so Army Rifle is Army WP_rifle on Instagram and Twitter. On Facebook, it's just Army West Point Rifle. And then my Instagram account is Coach Dempster along with my Twitter account. My Instagram is a little bit more behind the scenes look at the team. So there's a little bit more personality. So yeah, definitely go give me a follow.
Thank you again, Coach Leighton Dempster, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with Army West Point.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
You too. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Yep, thanks, Brandon.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.